Good day. I am Dr. Joseph Fox, Vice President of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Association of Asheville and Buncombe County, as well as the Chair of the Peace March and Rally Committee. Today we are coming again virtually for our Peace March and Rally as we recognize that COVID-19 pandemic has disproportionately negatively impacted Black and Brown communities. And so we wanted to again recognize the work of Dr. King with our annual Peace March and Rally, but we had to do it in a way that it was safe for our beloved community. We know that in 1983, President Ronald Reagan signed a bill that created a federal holiday to honor Dr. King. But we also know that it was not until the year 2000 that all 50 states officially observed the holiday. We ask ourselves, who was this man, this preacher, this advocator of social justice and racial equality that lived only 39 years? We know that Dr. King preached universal love and brotherhood and led nonviolent demonstrations and sit-in for racial equality. Hence, today we continue that legacy of Peace March and Rally in the nonviolent traditional. We know that Dr. King won the Nobel Peace Prize, that he was an educated individual where he skipped 3 grades and entered Morehouse College in 1944 at the age of 15, but did not rise to national recognition until his involvement in Montgomery, Alabama in December 1955 on behalf of Rosa Parks, who refused to give up her seat to a white gentleman on a bus. It led to the Montgomery boycott of riding on buses and picketing white businesses. Dr. King was arrested for staging an illegal boycott. Shortly after that, he and several ministers formed the Southern Christian Leadership Conference to further promote Black equity. He looked at how nonviolent demonstrations could open up opportunities for Blacks in terms of housing, jobs, education, and the fight against poverty. Some of the same issues that we are facing today. This was occurring at a time in our history where civil rights leaders were being assassinated, college students were being murdered and secretly dumping of their bodies, Black churches were being bombed, Black individuals being harassed by policemen. We saw the use of fire hoses and dogs. And once again, Dr. King was arrested in Florida for picketing and boycotting, where they used the unwanted guest law to incarcerate Dr. King. Despite everything that was going on, despite his arrest, the state of America, he said, "Let no man drag you so low as to hate." We know that we recognize a number of marches and protests throughout Dr. King's life. Of course, we've mentioned the Montgomery bus boycotts of 1955 through 56. There was also the Albany movement in 1961, which was a coalition formed in November 1961 in Albany, Georgia, to protest city segregation policies. We have the Birmingham campaign that we normally talk about with Dr. King's letter in Birmingham. We have our March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom in 1963. And then again, a march in Chicago in 1966, where Dr. King led about 700 people to protest not only the injustices that Blacks were facing in the South, but also in the North. We also know that Dr. King opposed the Vietnam War in 1967, and then in 1968, through his Poor People's Campaign, he shined the light on poverty. So today, as we celebrate Dr. King's legacy through our nonviolence protests and marches, let us not forget that we are still marching, even if it's virtual, for rights, for jobs, for education, for housing, for equity for our Black and brown communities. Thank you.